Hey, how's it going? Back with another unboxing video here. Right now I have for you the VEVOR Propane Melting Furnace. So I picked this up really to do some ore roasting for the gold panning. Let's see what it comes with. It comes with some actually pretty good instructions. We'll come back to those later. It also comes with a lid. There's a handle that's separate from the lid, so you will have to assemble it. And you can see it has that fire cloth on the inside, that insulation. Inside, you'll find a graphite crucible. It's I have the 6 kilogram one, 3-pound one. And yeah, it does need to be seasoned. There's no directions in the instruction manual for how to season it, but really you just put it in for low temperature for a while and heat it up. I'll show you that when we get to it. There's also a fire brick, and that goes down in the bottom, and your crucible will sit on top of that. Then assembly's pretty easy. You just put the inlet pipe on, just sets with a thumb screw, hand tight. And then you will have to assemble the hose nozzle on there. Use Teflon tape, but don't use the white Teflon tape. You want to make sure you use the yellow stuff. That's rated for gas and propane. So we'll just thread some of that thread tape on there. And then it went on pretty easily. It was hand tight. I ended up not needing the wrench. It just screws on. Pardon the fat fingers in the way, but it just screws right on there. Yep, just like that. And that's really all the assembly there is. And then that nozzle just goes right into the pipe. Whoops, you don't have to take the thumb screw off. And you just tighten it on hand tight. And then that valve controls on and off for the gas. There is a regulator on the hose that controls the amount of flow. Then the crucible just goes down on the fire brick like you see there. Now, I have seen online where some of the stuff comes with refractory cement. Mine didn't, and I ended up not needing it. But it's fairly lightweight. The tongs, that's the only thing that leaves something to be desired. You'll see when I'm pouring the metal, it's not that great. So I ordered some aftermarket tongs. But that's the whole kit assembled, minus the hose. Pretty simple, about 5 minutes. And let's go crush some cans. So we'll use my pneumatic can crusher here. All it is just a linear actuator that I hook up to my air compressor with a little valve. It's mostly made out of wood. That's what I had on hand. It's UHMW, an old cutting board just at the end, and that just helps the can slide down through, and they just fall into a garbage can. You can hear the compressors running. And it's just a little switch that activates it. And we have about a dozen cans, so let's go melt them. You can see the furnace is all set up in the driveway. I did do it away from the houses and cars. The worst part about it is lighting it up. So be on your toes when you do that. So after we let the crucible season, I let it season for about 15 minutes till everything was up to temperature. And now we'll start adding our cans. You're going to want to make sure you do this in a well-ventilated area. It does produce some fumes, and there are some flames that come out of the top, so you definitely don't want to do this in your garage. It's certainly an outdoor activity. But we'll let those melt and see how she does. I've never melted cans like this before, so I went pretty slow. Now it's just a matter of adding cans. I lost count, but probably 12 to 15 cans, and I added some aluminum foil just to see what that did. And everything melted down fine. All right, so now I'm grabbing the crucible out with the tongs that came with the VEVOR. Not a great angle. It's pretty awkward, and it's not ideal to do it out on the ground. I was wearing a face shield, goggles, and had on some foundry gloves that I got off of Amazon. I use them for pouring soft plastics to keep from getting burned. So now that we got the aluminum poured into our ingot mold, we'll just let it solidify for a few minutes. I let it solidify for about 20 minutes or so. I spent most of my time keeping the kids away. Now it came time to pour it into the water. I did leave the slag in the crucible. I took care of that later, and the slag just came right out of the crucible. It didn't stick to the graphite at all, which was nice. So cleanup was really simple. So I let that sit in the water for about 5 minutes, and there we have our nice ingot. We'll get that shined up and take it back to the workbench. Well, so what do I think of the VEVOR propane melting furnace? This is about 12 to 15 aluminum cans, something like that. I lost count. Shined it up a little bit. Yeah, I don't think I'll be melting a lot of cans, but I did buy it for roasting ore, for panning for gold, for prospecting. So I think for that it's going to come in really handy. I really liked the. It was really easy to use. Lighting it is kind of a thrill ride, but it works. It melts aluminum cans. I'm starting to collect some copper wire and some other things, some brass, so I could try making a couple creations. I was thinking actually about casting something like this and then pouring it in brass. I have a 3D resin printer, and they make casting resin, so that might be an option in the future to get more use out of it. But yeah, I think it's a pretty good, fairly well made for the price. It was definitely well under $100 is what I paid for it. I think I paid $75 for it or so off of Amazon. I'll throw a link down below. But I didn't like the tongs. They're fine for maybe blacksmithing, but lifting out the crucible and pouring it was a bit of a challenge with those tongs. So I did order another set of tongs, so you might see that in future videos. Anyway, if you want to see more of this stuff, just let me know in the comments below. And if you have any questions, I try to answer all the comments. And as always, thanks for watching.